Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, one and all. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Lemon live at 5 o'clock. We're on right on time today. Actually, 2 minutes late, but we were waiting on our guest. But we said, you know what? He's going to join us in progress. Here's a series. I'm glad you're here. Let me know where you're watching from today. By the way, yesterday and today's show, the engagement was fantastic. And we're happy that you guys are enjoying the live so much and that we're growing. You're helping us to grow this amazing community of almost 1 million subscribers. So thank you so much for that. Here's a question. Here's not even the question. This is the conundrum that we're in now. We're at a crossroads. We have one party, especially in one state, but trying to take it around the country, really trying to steal elections, being, I believe, ordered by the President of the United States to go and try to steal elections by gerrymandering districts and doing it in a period where it's not normally done, and then lying about, oh, this is just, this is normal. And I've spoken to some of the folks who are involved in this, and they said, Don, procedural, this is racist. That Donald Trump or the governor, the Republicans in Texas, are trying to disenfranchise Black voters, minority voters. And not only in Texas, but they want to take it around the country and do that. So joining us now is Beto O'Rourke. He's a former congressman, a presidential candidate, someone that I've interviewed many times, done town halls with. He now runs Powered by People, a voter registration and mobilization nonprofit that does really great work. Thank you for joining us, Beto O'Rourke.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be with you again.
How are you doing? I know you're doing okay, but how are you really doing in all this? Because this is crazy. This is crazy.
I've never been better. And this is the way I think about it. Some folks, and I get it, and I go through these days myself, are tempted to despair right now. And they say, well, what luck that I'm born at this time where we've got this autocrat in power who's defying the Constitution, who is defying the rule of law, who's trying to dismantle this democracy before our eyes, who is distinguishing America right now, not by our aspirations or ambitions, but by our cruelty to one another, especially the most vulnerable and defenseless. But the way I see it, especially as I travel the country, is how lucky are we to be alive at this moment, to be one of the few generations in American history that actually get the chance to save this country at its moment of truth. Because all of that bad stuff is certainly true. But there have been bad things that have preceded us. I mean, we fought the Nazis, we fought the Confederacy, we fought the British Empire, we fought the armed and elected thugs of the Jim Crow South to make civil rights and voting rights the national law. So we've overcome some pretty big challenges against some really big odds. And that's exactly what we're up against right now. And there's just millions of people out there, Don, and you're one of them, who are doing everything they can with what they've got, wherever they are, in whatever capacity they may possess, to fight and to ultimately win and overcome this. And so that's why I'm optimistic. That's why I'm encouraged. And that's why I feel really good right now.
I'm glad you feel the moment, the weight of the moment. And, sometimes we're not aware of the moment that we're in or what's going to happen. I just want to tell you, this is 10 years ago today. And I remember being there covering it. And I'm sure you remember it as well. This is 10 years ago. This is the first 2016. It was the first 2016 GOP primary debate that sort of ushered in the Trump era that we're in now. I mean, look, remember Jeb Bush, those were all the sort of normies or normal Republicans out there. But the Republicans that are in now, like Greg Abbott and like Ken Paxton. Ken Paxton is saying he's launching an investigation into you because he wants to stop you from doing what you're doing, and basically saying that perhaps you are the Democrats are doing something illegal. How do you respond to that?
They're clearly in full panic mode. They're scared. And it comes from the very top. Trump realizes that his policies, cutting people off of Medicaid, these Gestapo tactics that are terrorizing hardworking Americans all over the country, the massive transfers of wealth from working people to the wealthiest 1%, deeply unpopular stuff. He's not going to be able to hold control of the House. And if he loses the House, there's going to be a check on his lawlessness. There's going to be accountability for his crimes and his corruption, whether it is trading girls with Jeffrey Epstein, whether it's accepting bribes from foreign governments. And there will also, if he loses the House, be real prospects for free and fair elections in 2028. He fears every single one of those things. And it is out of that desperation and fear that he seeks to steal these 5 congressional districts in the state of Texas. And as you pointed out, Don, Greg Abbott and Donald Trump, thick as thieves, are working to steal the 2026 election right now in the summer of 25. So our work is cut out for us. It's absolutely clear what we have to do. We have to stop them from stealing these seats. We have to win a majority in the House. And if we do, we can stop the consolidation of this authoritarian power in the hands of the president of the United States. It's literally the only thing that we can do right now. And if we fail, I really don't know how we get it back. I think it's more masked, plainclothes federal agents without warrants or badges rounding up our fellow Americans. It's more of Trump's and Greg Abbott's and Ken Paxton's political enemies targeted for persecution, as you're seeing with Powered by People in Texas, for revenge and even for political violence, which we have seen too much of in America. And lastly, I think it is far more likely, if we fail to stop this steal and win the House, that a Republican majority Congress, complicit and cowardly, will roll out the red carpet for a Trump third term. So this is the fight of our lives, and it is epicenter is in Texas right now.
I want to talk about this because I mentioned, I said that this was some of the folks there are saying it's racist. Obviously, it is racist what they're doing. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to disenfranchise people from voting, and many of those people minorities. But look, this is what John Cornyn tweeted out. Because the FBI is he has enlisted the FBI, Kash Patel, Donald Trump approves as well, of trying to hunt down the lawmakers. I think Paxton's words were hunt these lawmakers down. Now, this language offended a lot of the folks that I know, and people who are part of our community. And he said, this is John Cornyn, I am proud to announce that Director Kash Patel has approved my request for the FBI to assist state and local law enforcement in locating runaway Texas House Democrats. And as I read that, folks started telling me runaway. When was the last time you used runaway? It was like, are they runaway slaves? Are they fugitives? Like, what is going on here, Beto?
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it right on the head. I talked about the heroes who preceded us. Yesterday, we celebrated the 60th anniversary of the Voting Rights Act of 1965, which was made possible not by Lyndon Baines Johnson, although I'm grateful for his role in it, but by John Lewis, 24 years old, marching across that Edmund Pettus Bridge, having his skull fractured, nearly killed in the process, to fight for the full political rights of every single one of us. It was people like John Lewis, not just in 1965, but for the 70, 80, 90 years preceding that, who were up against the Jim Crow stronghold, who battled, who suffered, who were imprisoned, who were lynched, who lost their lives in order to win this extraordinary victory. And the other side, from the day the Voting Rights Act was passed and signed into law 60 years ago and a day, they have been working to bring this down because they do not want some people in this country to be so free, to be able to participate in our politics, to hold office, and to decide the future, the fate, and the fortune of the United States of America. And in the 12 years since the Roberts Supreme Court decided Shelby versus Holder, which gutted the Voting Rights Act of 1965, you have seen states like mine in Texas closed down more than 700 polling places. Don, almost all those polling place closures have occurred in the fastest growing Black and brown neighborhoods in the state of Texas, the most onerous voter ID laws, and what 3 federal judges, 2 of them appointed by Republican presidents, have called a racial gerrymander of the state of Texas. Read, if you're Black or you're brown, you're likely to be drawn out of a congressional district where your vote is going to have some impact and power into a district where your vote counts for nothing. So when some folks in Texas don't vote, I want people to get off their high horse and not judge them and say you get what you deserve by not voting. I want you to realize there's a logic involved. Folks don't want to play in a rigged game. They don't want to participate if they have no power. And that's exactly what these Republicans have done. So John Cornyn's comments today about sending the long arm of the law under Kash Patel, who's awfully busy these days trying to cover up for Donald Trump's crimes with Jeffrey Epstein, that is in line with everything that has flown from the winning of civil and political rights and all the Jim Crow bullshit that preceded that in the first place.
Don, you're muted.
Oh, sorry, Beto, I was on mute. My dogs are, I want you to know how important this is, and my dogs are excited about it. But this is Steve Bannon talking about the importance.
Time the Commerce Department had a bunch of globalists in it, we kind of blinked. And President, at the time the Commerce Department had a bunch of globalists in it, we kind of blinked, and it didn't happen. President Trump's not making that mistake again. He says, no way, we're going to do it and do it right. No illegal aliens. How big a deal? Got about a minute to grasp. How big a deal is that for us?
No, if we zoom out, Steve, we've got three things here. Okay, we've got obviously what we've been talking about on the show all week and prior, of course, the Texas redistricting you're looking at. We talked about 12 seats, now it's 13. Now they're talking about 15, 16. You've got South Carolina, you've got other states looking at things. That's one front, and we'll get more in the weeds on that. Obviously, the census and not including illegal immigrants, which again, something the war room and you have been talking about for since the start of the show, of course, Steve, would be systematically change modern American politics. And the other third aspect that we're talking about here, Steve, is the voting rights, is up in the Supreme Court. They said, wait, hold on. Do we need race-based seats? Does this go against the 14th and 15th Amendment? And does the Constitution supersede, racial seat drawing, of course, now? And if that happens, you've got these three vectors. Back of the envelope math this morning when I woke up with a smile was Democrats could lose 42 seats, and that would change the whole ballgame here.
Modern American politics.
They're going after the Voting Rights Act, and Democrats could lose 42 seats, and they're smiling about it. When they go after the Voting Rights Act, I'm like, to what end? Why is it? Why do you want to do that? Obviously, Steve Bannon is not being disenfranchised by anything. He's a very wealthy man. And most of the people who are concerned about it are not disenfranchised by anything. So why are they so concerned about the Voting Rights Act?
It's clear as day what's going on here. And I got to tell you, as evil as these people are, Steve Bannon, Donald Trump, the henchmen who are working for them to destroy what remains of the Voting Rights Act, which was already gutted in that 2013 Shelby versus Holder decision. It's about power. And on our part, I'm a Democrat, and our party has made some really big mistakes. In 2021, we had the White House, we had the House, we had the Senate. We had the ability to pass and for Biden to sign into law the John Lewis Voting Rights Adjustment Act that would have restored voting rights in places like Texas, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, Florida, states where the rights have been stripped disproportionately, by the way, from young people, Black people, and Mexican Americans and other Latinos across these states. Not only did we fail to do that, we failed to use the power that was given to us by the American people to make their lives better in real time. Now we see someone who is using that power to evil ends as effectively as it has ever been wielded. And Don, to your point, he is trying to grab more, not just these 5 seats in Texas, but as you just played in that clip, maybe another 35, 36 seats across the country if they can destroy what remains of the Voting Rights Act. Democrats for far too long have cared more about being right, being nice, than they have cared about being in power, while the other side has only cared about being power and nothing else, regardless of what's legal, what's moral, what's ethical, or what's right. We have to get serious about being in power, focused only on achieving it and then using it and making real Americans' lives better, and then saving this country, protecting it so that you never have a would-be tyrant fascist like Donald Trump in office again. And that means passing things like the John Lewis Voting Rights Adjustment Act.
Yeah. Look, I want to be respectful of your time, but I want to play this because what people want to know is how far are the Democrats in Texas willing to go? Because you guys are, you're going to set the example for perhaps how Democrats around the country and others who don't support this autocracy, how they are going to react, what they're going to do next. I want to play this for you. This is Jolanda Jones, representative, and here's what she said on our show. I think it was the day before yesterday.
I mean, I can't imagine living in a time with no voting rights. I can't imagine living in a time with no civil rights, but that's where we are. And so what do we do under this new playbook? We thought we were moving forward and the Republicans are taking us back. So we got to figure this out and we got to stand in the gap. And yes, it's hard. I have a granddaughter. I adore her. I miss her. But I'm going to have to be okay with FaceTime because I can't come back to see her. Because there's not a doubt in my mind that the Texas State Troopers will arrest me. And if I'm arrested, I literally can't fight for democracy. So I've got to sacrifice. It is what it is. It makes me sad, but it is what it is.
What are you willing to do? How long can you guys hold out?
As long as it takes. You know, Jolanda, I know her. She's an incredible, courageous, heroic woman, joined by these 55 other Texas Democrats who risk arrest, having their offices vacated, second degree felony criminal charges being brought against them, the DPS troopers in Texas hunting them down, to use Ken Paxton's words, or as you pointed out, John Cornyn enlisting the FBI to try to find them, calling them runaways from the state of Texas. So to have Jolanda's back in the back of everyone else fighting, not for the people of Texas only, but for all 330 million of us, we're asking people to text the word fight to 20377. The resources we raise, 100 cents on the dollar, goes to these Texas Democrats to keep them at the front of this fight for as long as it takes to win.
You said text fight to 20377. So real quickly, while I have you here, because I hate to do this. You did mention, protecting, pedophiles. Should Donald Trump release, or should the Justice Department release the Epstein files?
One of the interesting numbers that I've seen recently is the 90% of America that thinks that Donald Trump must release these files. You cannot get 90% of America to agree on whether they like ice cream or anything else. The country is unified in wanting justice for the young girls who were trafficked and abused and raped. And it is clear that at some level, Donald Trump is complicit. We don't know the degree to which he is. We know that he's named in these files, that he was briefed on that by the Department of Justice under Pam Bondi. We know that they tried to meet at JD Vance's Naval Observatory residence last night with Kash Patel to try to hush this up and to hide the ball. The American people want the truth. This story, no matter what Trump does, is not going to go away. We need to keep up the fire and the pressure, and we need to get the answers and the justice that those girls deserve.
Beto O'Rourke, thank you very much. I really appreciate you joining us. Beto O'Rourke is a former congressman, presidential candidate, now runs Powered by the People, a voter registration and mobilization nonprofit. And there you see it up on your screen. He's asking for your help. Text FIGHT to 20377. Best of luck to you. I appreciate you coming on the program. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Don. Thank you.
Thank you. Stand up guy there. We love having him on, and he is doing great work. And he's right about all of this. In this moment, we all need to stand up and do what we can in the moment, because that's what's going to happen as you look back in history. What did you do? And this isn't partisan for me. Remember, I'm not part of any party, independent. But the Democrats right now are fighting to keep free and fair elections, fighting for you. And so that we don't have to deal with the racists and the bigots and the people who want to take democracy. Here's a question. So when someone is smiling and gloating about challenging removing the Voter Rights Act, like, to what end? Why? If let's just say, the Women's Movement Act, and I said, oh, well, we should think about that and should get rid of it. What is your motivation? Like, why get rid of it? What is it other than racism? Right? So if you wanted to get rid of an Equal Protection Act for women or whatever, the only motivation would be is that, especially if you're a man or whatever, the only motivation would be sexism. If you want to remove the Voting Rights Act, what is your motivation? The underlying, there is no other answer than racism. Well, I'm not racist. So then why do you want to do it? Because I believe that we should do this. Why do you want that? Because I think that at the bottom, if you keep peeling back the layers of the onion, you will eventually get to, because this is what we want. This is what we're entitled to. And at the end of the day, that is racism and white supremacy. If you just keep peeling back the layers, and all you have to do is say, why? Well, because it's okay, why? And then you keep going, and they will get to that. They want to go backwards, says Catherine W. Well, that's what they do. They want to go backwards. The whole idea of make America great again is looking backwards at a time when whoever that they thought it was great. That means we want to take you back to a time where we thought it was better than it is now. There's no other answer to it. Why do you care about an act that protects the rights of people to vote? People who have been historically, systemically, and systematically disenfranchised in America in the course of American history. There's nothing about that. It's the same reason you don't want you want to remove books from schools. You don't want your kids learning about slavery or about American history, about Black history, which is American history. No, we don't want them learning about that. We don't want our kids to feel bad. How do you think it feels? How do you think it felt to go to a polling place, or not? Well, first of all, not to be able to go to a polling place, or first, not even to be counted as a full person, and then all of a sudden, well, you're 3/5. Okay, so then, what is the point? How do you think it felt to not be able to vote, not have any representation, and then once you were able to vote, to go there and then have a poll tax where someone says, how many jelly beans in this jar? How many bubbles in this, or whatever it is that they would do? And you don't want people to learn about that, and you don't want to protect the descendants of those people who have been disenfranchised throughout the history of this country? What in the world? Like, I don't get it. I don't see what that has to do with anything with being a political ideology. It's just fucking bigotry. And we should just say that. We should just say that it is racist. That's what you want. Donald Trump and the fucking Republicans right now want to take us back to a time when Black people and minorities and women did not have equal rights to white men. You heard, I said what I said. I did not stutter. That's what they want to do. So why not just say it? They're saying it in code. They should just come out and say it so that we just say it. Just don't stop saying DEI. Just say the N-word. Just say it. Because we believe that we are entitled to this. This is ours. Now, to all of us here, the Native Americans might have some words for you. And even the Mexican Americans might have a few words for you too, because they were here before you. And the Black folks might have a few words for you because Black people are not immigrants to this country. They did not come here to seek the land of opportunity. They were brought here in order to help build on their backs the land of opportunity for you. So we might have a few words to say about that. So if anyone is entitled to anything, you would be at the bottom of the list. And you know it. And that's why you're fighting tooth and nail to hang on to something that you know is not yours to begin with. Here's a word from our sponsors. Support comes from ZBiotics. Let me tell you, I love a good night out, especially during the summer, but I don't like waking up feeling terrible the next morning. That's why I use ZBiotics. It is called pre-alcohol, and it's a total game changer. ZBiotics is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic designed by PhD scientists to help you feel better after drinking. Now, here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol creates a toxic byproduct in your gut. That's what causes rough mornings. It's not dehydration. Pre-alcohol helps break that byproduct down. Now, I first tried it before a night out with friends. I had my go-to an old-fashioned, And I woke up the next day feeling clear, rested, and on point. It really works. So if you're hitting the beach, traveling, or enjoying one last summer trip, don't forget ZBiotics. Go to zbiotics.com/lemon. Use the code LEMON at checkout for 15% off of your first order. And if you're not satisfied, they're going to refund your money. No questions asked. That's zbiotics.com/lemon, code LEMON for 15% off. Support comes from Delete Me. As someone who lives in the public eye, I know how dangerous it is to have your personal information floating around online, your name, your home address, your phone number, even your family's information. That can be bought and sold on the internet. That's not just creepy, it's a real threat. That's why I use Delete Me. Delete Me removes your personal data from data broker sites. It's fast, safe, and it gives me peace of mind in a world where privacy is constantly under attack. So you don't have to be famous to protect yourself. Identity theft, phishing, harassment, it's happening to everybody, everyday people all the time, but you can fight back. So take control of your privacy today. Get 20% off of your Delete Me plan by texting Don to 64000. That's Don to 64000. Message and data rates may apply. So peace of mind, Don to 64000 for 20% off. I got a little tongue-tied there. Okay, so listen, thank you to our sponsors. We really appreciate it. So, I mean, am I going off? I feel so free. There was a time where I could not say this. If I said that, they'd be like, go to the commercial break. Go. Oh, my God. Don Lemon has lost his mind on the air. Get down there to the set on the anchor desk and yank him off. Go. Not anymore, or as we say here, not no more. I keep hitting the eyelash keeps hitting my glasses and I can't see. I can say whatever I want. I'm free, completely emancipated to tell the truth, and don't have to. I'm saying it with my whole chest, Tiffany Richardson. Thank you very much. Someone needs to say it. Someone in Washington needs to say that to their face. I wish there was someone in there, but look, we talked about that this morning. The press is in a very tough spot. It's really not what the it was Perry Bacon explained to me. He says, I've been in there. It's really not what they that room is for. That room is not the briefing. It's not really about news. It's like it's stagecraft. So yeah, but I wish someone would say it to them to hear it. I wish there was, maybe Byron Donalds will do it. Maybe Tim Scott will do it. Now, I know better than that. But I wish somebody would get in their face and tell them. Just read them. I wish someone would just read them to their faces. I said what I said. So let's talk about Epstein, because that's where we are right now. Now, there was supposed to be a summit last night at the vice president's house. It was reported. Sources close to the investigation, people with knowledge of this said this, blah, 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 and it was supposed to be there. And then Donald Trump and JD Vance asked about it in a press conference. I'm not sure, do we have that? Asked about it in a press conference, said this. I want you to hear what they said, and then I'm going to explain to you what happened. I want to do it because they're playing in your face, because they're lying in your face. Let me know when you get the soundbite from Donald Trump and JD Vance at the White House last night. We have it? Okay. Last night, because they were supposed to have this meeting. It did not go over well. The press reported it. And then they start incoming. Oh my gosh. What are you guys? Are you crazy? What are you doing? Why are you doing this? And so then they threw the reporters of the news organization under the bus. And then lied in the face saying, hey, look, we never said we were going to have a meeting. But guess what? As I said, they lied. Do we have the soundbite?
Yes, we do.
Okay, here it is. This is what they said.
Vice President Vance hosting a gathering this evening to talk about how to respond to the Epstein situation.
Is he working on what?
Is he hosting some kind of gathering of top advisors this evening to talk about how to respond to the Epstein situation?
I don't know. I could ask you that question. I don't know of it, but I think here's the man right here.
I saw a report today, and it's completely fake news. We're not meeting to talk about the Epstein situation, and I think the reporter who reported it needs to get better sources.
On that, look, the whole thing is a hoax. It's put out by the Democrats because we've had the most successful 6 months in the history of our country. And that's just a way of trying to divert attention to something that's total bullshit. Okay?
On that subject,
yeah, please.
Okay, something that is just complete and total bullshit. Here it is. Kyle Griffin tweeting this today. Breaking news on MSNBC. A group met to discuss Jeffrey Epstein and other topics at the White House last night. Now, here's what's interesting to me that they did at the White House. The AG Pam Bondi and the FBI Director Kash Patel were both there. Another topic discussed, 2 fired FBI agents with ties to a Mar-a-Lago search. Okay. This is why it is important to point out that they had it at the White House, because Donald Trump says, I never speak to them about this. I don't know what's going on. I have not spoken to anyone about this. I haven't spoken to the Pam Bondi. She can do what she wants to do. I haven't spoken to Todd Blanche, the deputy director. Haven't. The deputy AG, I should say. I haven't spoken to anybody, but yet what do you, at the White House, what do you think? You think he was there? You think Donald Trump would, excuse me, the question is, you think he wasn't there? Of course, Donald Trump was there. Of course, he was there. Sam Stein tweeting this, explaining this is, and I think this really sums it up, because they would have lost their minds if Democrats had done something like this. This is what Sam Stein tweeted, and he's right. It's like Bill Clinton getting on Loretta Lynch's plane, only instead of an ex-president, it's the current vice president, and instead of a plane, it's the White House. And instead of wondering if they're talking about a current matter before DOJ, we know that's what they're discussing. That's why I keep saying they're playing in your face and you're not even realizing it. And people are just letting them do this, and it's okay for them. But when Bill Clinton, which everybody thought it was a bad look, they were like, okay, it's a bad look. He should not have gone on Loretta Lynch's plane. You know, things were happening in the country. He had been impeached, or it was, you know, it was all the process, all the chaos. All right. All the things that were happening in the turmoil, whatever at that time. And so even Democrats are like, that was a bad look, Bill. And now you look back and it doesn't seem like such a big deal, because look at the time that we're in. They were upset. There were matters in front of the Justice Department. Loretta Lynch was heading the Justice Department, right? So leader in the Justice Department. Bill Clinton was in the spotlight under scrutiny, and he gets on her plane. Everyone thinks there's a cover-up. What's going on? He's trying to influence. Okay, it was a bad look. He paid the price. But now they're doing it in your face. So I'm going to read that again. It's like Bill Clinton getting on Loretta Lynch's plane, only this time, instead of an ex-president. Now, Bill Clinton was the ex-president at the time, and I think this was during the Hillary thing? Yes. Instead of an ex-president, it is the current vice president, and instead of a plane, it's the White House, and instead of wondering if they're talking about a current matter before DOJ, we know that's what they're discussing. They're telling us we are discussing this. It is outrageous, and they're not even trying to hide it. They're not even, none of it. Are you okay with that? This is why it concerns me about how long, why I'm hoping that Democrats in Texas can hold out for a long period of time. Now, eventually, I know that they will probably do some redistricting. But if they can hold out before until after the limit, the time for them to get it done, so that it doesn't affect the midterms, I'm cool with that. Okay, after that, you redistrict, but let the midterms happen. They're afraid that they're going to lose the House in the midterms. And if they lose the House in the midterms, it is game over for Donald Trump's agenda. He is a lame duck president, and it is game over for MAGA because, as Beto O'Rourke said, and as the folks who come on here say, and as I have been telling you, people are not happy with their agenda. The economy is not what they're making it out to be. You guys know it. You're living it. The cost of goods are going up. They're high and they're going up. And they are bamboozling you about the economy. Why do you think that they have Scott Bessent going? Scott Bessent was on this morning on MSNBC. I was like, whoa, okay, what's going on? Get out there and sell it. Sell the tariffs, sell the economy. They know that the farmers are pissed. And so now he's trying to make concessions for the farmers. The folks in the service industry are pissed. They're trying to make concessions for them. He is tacoing all over the place. And they know that they don't like his policies. And they're not going over. And his poll numbers are not what he says they are, no matter what he tells Joe Kiernan on CNBC. His poll numbers are not there. He does not have the majority of voters supporting him in this country. And this will be a reckoning for the Republican Party. So I say to you, and everyone who's in the sound of my voice, hold on, hold out, support the Democrats in Texas in any way that you can. You need to support them. And of course, you need to support the people who can report on them, like us. That's why I said, click join to become a member. Become a member of the Don Lemon Show today. Become a subscriber. Subscriptions are free. If you want free and fair information, then come here. But you got, if you want to get it, I mean free from corporate influence, then you have to come here and get it. If you want this to continue, then don't engage. Then just sit. Don't support independent journalists. Just go sit in front of the television and listen to people who are getting their cues, some of them, from upstairs. And as this morning, as we talked about it, we're not talking about the journalists. They're in a tough position. They have just been put into a system, the corporation, that causes them to have to deal with what they're dealing with and act in ways that they are acting now. That is what's happening. And then I want to talk to you today about something that is very disturbing as it relates to Israel and Gaza. Do you guys want to hear about that? And also I want to talk to you about this alligator Alcatraz and about just how inhumane many people in this country are being treated, some of them undocumented, some of them documented, some of them with no criminal records. But first, I want to get a word from our sponsors. Support comes from the Wild Alaskan Company. Look, I grew up on the Southern seafood, but when I found Wild Alaskan Company, it changed the game. Their seafood is wild caught, never farmed, and shipped directly to your door. No antibiotics, no additives, just clean, real fish. Now, I've tried their sockeye salmon and halibut. Both are incredible. The texture, the flavor, it's like I just pulled it out of the water myself. You can taste the difference. Each cut is frozen right off the boat to preserve nutrients and freshness, and every purchase supports sustainable harvesting and fishing communities. Wild Alaskan makes it easy to get perfectly proportioned, nutrient-dense seafood that you can actually trust. Try it risk-free with a full money-back guarantee. If you're not happy with your first box, they're going to refund you. No questions asked. Go to wildalaskan.com/lemon for $35 off your first box. That's wildalaskan.com/lemon for $35 off your first box. Support comes from BetterHelp. Let's just be honest. There's no shortage of advice out there on how to feel better. Cold plunges, journals, meditation apps, but figuring out what actually works for you can be overwhelming. That's where therapy comes in. Now, I've done therapy and it has helped me through some of life's hardest moments. Sometimes you just need someone to talk to without judgment. That's why I recommend BetterHelp. BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform. Over 30,000 therapists, more than 5 million people served. You can meet with a licensed therapist from the comfort of your own home and switch anytime if it's not the right fit. It is convenient It's private, and it actually works. Their app has a 4.9 out of 5 rating with over 1.7 million reviews. So talk it out with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/DonLemon to get 10% off of your first month. That's betterhelp.com/DonLemon. Get 10% off your first month. Thanks to our sponsors. Always thank you to our sponsors so much. Okay, so let's talk about what we've been hearing so much about, where these people are being deported to, what happens to them when they're rounded up, and the kinds of facilities that they're in. And usually, so you think like, well, they're in America, it's going to be okay. It's not going to be, the Hilton. It's not going to be, a fancy, it won't be a Marriott. It won't be the Ritz-Carlton, but they will at least be treated humanely. The cruelty is the point with this administration. Now, I want you to sit back and I want you to listen, because this woman explains, and she says she was a worker at the Alcatraz facility in Florida. Here it is.
It would get better, but it never did. It's inhumane the way that they're keeping their residents. When I got there, it was overwhelming.
She shared her state of Florida credential, which lists her position as a corrections officer.
They said it was going to be 5 days on, 2 days off. I was aware that it was going to be the alligator Alcatraz. We had to use the porta-johns. We didn't have hot water half the time. Our bathrooms were backed up. It looked like an oversized dog kennel.
She says each tent had 8 large cages.
Each pod holds 35 to 38 inmates. They have bunk beds in them. They have no sunlight. There's no clock in there. They don't even know what time of the day it is. They shower every other day or every 4 days. The bathrooms are backed up because you got so many people using them.
On rainy days, she says, the water pours into the tents.
Not everybody there is a criminal. These people are still human. You've pulled them from their livelihood. They're scared. They don't speak our language.
Lindsay says she was fired from the facility after she caught COVID and was accused of altering medical paperwork submitted to the company. She denies the allegations and says she's coming forward because of what she saw.
And yeah, I was fired. And yeah, I'm pissed off. But more so than ever, they're doing wrong.
More so than ever, they are doing wrong. The cruelty is the point. Now, how much longer do you want to live under something like this, where people don't treat people, whether they're documented or undocumented, with dignity, as humans, with respect? Isn't that supposed to be, America's not about that? Isn't that why we have the Constitution? Isn't that why you're innocent until proven guilty? And isn't that why we believe in due process? Isn't that why we're democracy, and we say we're supposed to be better? We're supposed to be the shining city on the hill, the example to the world of how everybody else should conduct themselves. And we, think that we are better than everybody else, and we try to run the world and tell everybody else what to do. When we are doing shit like that. When we are doing shit like that. Thank you, CC Sever Smith, because of your generosity, 5 people get to become members of the Elimination. Thank you, Mary Carell. Welcome to the Elimination. And thank you, Maureen Marfell. Don, you are our truth and fire. Thank you. I appreciate that. And welcome to all of our new members. If you're a new member, put them up. Thank you for that. And thank you to all of our new subscribers as well. The subscribe button is right there next to the comments. It's running at the bottom of your screen. It's the red button. Let's talk about, again, people being treated poorly. Benjamin Netanyahu. This is a New York Times headline. Benjamin Netanyahu is saying that he wants to take over Gaza. Netanyahu says Israel wants to take military control over Gaza. Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli prime minister, made the remarks ahead of Security Cabinet meeting, although military leaders are wary of expanding operations in the territory. Interesting. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said on Thursday that Israel planned to take control of all Gaza, bucking the advice of Israeli military and warnings that expanding operations could endanger the hostages being held there and kill more Palestinian civilians. Mr. Netanyahu made the comments in an interview with Fox News ahead of a Security Cabinet meeting on Thursday to discuss a proposal to expand military operations in Gaza. They came as talks to achieve a ceasefire and the release of the hostages have hit an impasse, with Israeli and Hamas officials blaming each other for the deadlock. When asked whether Israel would take over all of Gaza, he responded, "We intend to." Donald Trump wants to turn it into, what did he call it? The Riviera of the Middle East. Here's Benjamin Netanyahu.
We'll go immediately into a meeting with your security cabinet. You will go immediately into a meeting with your security cabinet. Will Israel take control of all of Gaza?
We intend to, in order to assure our security, remove Hamas there, enable the population to be free of Gaza, and to pass it to civilian governance. That is not Hamas and not anyone advocating the destruction of Israel. That's what we want to do. We want to liberate ourselves and liberate the people of Gaza from the awful terror of Hamas. And
so that's what he wants to do. And they wonder why the public sentiment is where it is. They wonder why that Americans are not with the Israeli people on the response right now. Why you see, especially when you see people starved, begging for food, especially if you look at Gaza. I mean, is it Gaza anymore? It just looks like rubble. Just by any sense of decency, no matter how you look at it, yes, October 7th was awful. Yes, it goes without saying that Israel has a right to defend itself, but to what end? And now to say, when you say something like that, it makes people think that, well, that's what you wanted to do all along. That was your objective all along. Was to take over Gaza. And for many people sat back and said, okay, well, let's see what happens, because October 7th was so horrendous. And because of where the support and the public sentiment around it was, people were like, okay, let's just see what happens. Let's see what happens. And then Israel kept going. And then they're like, okay, wait, well, Hamas, whatever. And then Israel kept going. And they say, okay, well, the hostages, of course they should bring the hostages home. And Israel kept going. And then you see kids who don't have families and just orphaned on, and then Israel just kept going. And so when does a decency part come in? When does a decency part come in there? And when does it come in for America? Because we have moved into a time of indecency. Karen White, man, you are reading my mind. I will never forget this moment in time ever. We are going to remember this and we're going to wonder, what did we do? Now, just think let me just tell you guys this. So you see what's happening around the world, and we are a part of it because we support Israel. This country gives Israel billions of dollars a year. And by the way, there was someone who said, this country gives Israel billions of dollars a year. And the right is, the folks on the right feel a certain kind of way about it. It's understandable. The folks on the right feel a certain kind of way about it. I shouldn't say it's understandable. I don't mean that. That was a poor choice of words. They feel a certain kind of way about it. But I wonder if those folks on the right, and I saw it online, this man who said it, and it was true, that Israel has like universal health care. How do you feel that your tax dollars are going towards that? Israel pays for women's abortions and that kind of thing. And that, how do you feel with your money going there? And then he just went on to all of the liberal policies that Israel has. And it's true, Israel is a democracy, the closest thing to democracy in the Middle East, in that region. And so they have all of these things that are very progressive. And our tax dollars are going to that, and I'm cool with my tax dollars going towards progressive issues and for progressive things. But I would like the people here in America to be able to have universal health care. Who doesn't want that? You'd be an idiot not to want that. I don't understand when folks say, "Oh my God, it's progressive. That's socialism or whatever." It's just like, well, what is the difference? Do you not want people to have health care? Because it costs a lot. So do roads. But we have them so that we can get from point A to B. So do schools. But we need that to be able to educate ourselves. Utilities are expensive, but we need infrastructure. And what's more important than your health? So what I don't understand, look, and I'm not being naive, I'm not being Pollyannish. I just don't understand why it's so hard for a country as rich and as big as America, as vast as we are, that we cannot provide decent health care for every single American in this country. It is possible. But the people don't want that because they choose profit over humanity. They choose profit over decency. Greed is not good. And we are in a greedy, greedy moment right now. This is beyond Gordon Gekko. This is greed. Donald Trump has made more money off the presidency probably than he has made in decades. And he is a convicted felon. And people are celebrating that. Some people are. People voted for him, a convicted felon. So I forget who said it, but I will never forget this moment that we're in right now. Yes, the president of the United States is the #1 grifter in the country. And maybe, who knows, maybe of all time. And we hadn't even talked about the Qatari plane and how it is reported that they're hiding the money through the Pentagon to pay for it, the $1 billion or dollars that it's going to cost to do it. And we are going to pay for it. That's the thing. There's $1 billion, and we're going to pay for all of this. Okay, we're going to pay to have that retrofitted. And you are sitting around in your pickup truck that barely has a wheel on it, or your mobile home, or you don't have health care. You can't pay for that. You're lighting your cigarettes on the stove because you don't have. And you are sitting around in squalor. But Donald Trump is getting a free plane that you are paying for, and you're okay with it. Is it just me? You're complaining about gas prices because they're too high, but Donald Trump gets a plane. Y'all are stupid as fuck, man. I'm just telling you. I don't mean y'all, but you know who I'm talking about. As my aunt used to say, not stupid, stupid. I'm done. That's enough, y'all. I remember when I was a kid and my mom and dad would have an argument and they go back and forth and whatever. And then one of them would just throw their hands up and go, that's enough. That's enough. And then they would make up. They'd be like, that's enough. So that is enough. I'm done for the day. Okay. I want to thank you for sitting here every day and listening or wherever it is that you are and engaging with us. It's great. We love having that. We love creating. We love building this community with you. It is a very, very important thing. There aren't many. There are people who have millions more subscribers than us, but they're not more loyal than you guys. And it's not as personal a community as you guys. I involve you. I read your comments. You get to come on the show if you're at the right tier of the membership, and you get to state your opinion. I don't screen and go, oh, okay, you can't come on. You get to be a member at the highest tier. You want to be a Lemon Legend, then you're going to be on the program, and you can check me if you so choose to. And that's what this is about. It's not just about me preaching to you. It's also about you weighing in. I want to hear from you. Don, you set it up, and that was the truth. Thank you very much for that. Okay, so look, if you want to find out anything about us, here's what you do. You need to go on to donlemon.com. Go to donlemon.com and check out everything you want to know where to watch. It's right there. It's the first button on the left. You want to know where to stream? It's the second set of buttons. You want our merch? It's right there. Click on that merch so they can see what's going on here. You want to know? That's where it is. I don't know if you can click on it on this one. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you can't do it.
You can. There's just an issue with the page loading. So
well, that's okay. I'm going to send you something else, Nikki. That's just going to get you chap your hide. Yeah, because I want folks to see this. I put something on social media and I want you to see this. And there are some other things on social media that I want you to see too, because just let me know when you get this. I'm going to take my time for a second and then I want to send this to the team Lemon Nation. In the meantime, I'm going to play, this is a Kristi Noem parody that I think it's funny. Now, this is a parody. This is not her. But my team thinks I should play it and they like it. Don't go anywhere. Okay, I'm going to show you some stuff. Here it is.
Hi, I'm Secretary of Homeland Security and full-time cosplay enthusiast Kristi Noem, and I've got a couple of announcements for you. First off, ICE is now dropping its age cap for new law enforcement recruits. That's right, we used to cap it off at the age of 37, now no age limits. So dust off your dentures and join ICE today, as long as you're white. Secondly, the name for my new themed detention center, the Indiana Speedway Slammer, is a no-go. Apparently, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway doesn't want us using their likeness for our concentration camps, which is a bummer because I had a whole NASCAR-themed ice outfit planned. But it's okay, I'm already thinking of different themes. I'm thinking of the Indiana State Fair Ice Pavilion because I look good in pigtails and overalls. And lastly, it's come to my attention that South Park will be portraying me in their latest episode this week. Unfortunately, I've seen the animation and it looks nothing like me. See? Are those the deeply haunted eyes of someone who shot a puppy in cold blood in a gravel pit? I don't think so. So anyways, stay tuned for more ICE updates. Kristi out.
Okay, I hadn't seen it. They told me to play it. Now we get a laugh out of it because they knew today was going to be a heavy show. That was pretty good. Here's also what I want to show you. So today, is this the video? This is the video. So, and then there's also a photograph. Did you see the photograph I sent? I'll show the photograph later. So today I was out with my mom and I wanted to remind you guys that on the 13th of August, I'm going to be at City Winery with D.L. Hughley, and it starts at 7:30. Doors open at 6:30, I think. Anyways, so I did a little video with my mama as we were out eating ice cream today. We went on an ice cream run with the dogs. Here it is. I know you're in the middle of summer I have a special guest with me. There's my mom. I know you're in the middle of summer. I have a special guest with me. There's my mom. We're enjoying the summer. And you should too. You know what you should do? You should come see me and DL Hughley at City Winery in New York City on August 13th. August 12th night is sold out. They had to add another date. So this is my special guest. Who are you going to bring to see us? City Winery in New York City. Me and DL Hughley. DL plus DL episode 2 coming up. Would it be episode 2.5 since we added an extra night? All right, 2 plus, something like that. Say, come see us, Mom.
Come see them.
Did I mention August 13th, 7:30, City Winery. Go check it out. Check the website, City Winery, New York City website. See you there. I should have just said check donlemon.com. And then, did you get the picture, Nikki? We have that? Do we have the picture of that? It's up. I'm not sure. That's us today. There's my mom. We did an ice cream run. And we had a picture with the, oh my God. So my mom is smart because I asked her, I said, Mom, I love soft serve and I love the old school cone. I don't want that waffle cone or any of that other sweet. I want the old school one that's like a communion wafer. And I want soft serve vanilla. That's my jam. And she said, see, old people be knowing. My mom said, no, I don't want that because soft serve melts too much in this heat. I get that when it's cooler outside. I just want regular ice cream. So look how hers is holding up. Mine is dripping all down my fingers and the dogs are trying to lick it up. And I said, it's the dog days of summer plus mama. Okay. So until I see you guys here tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern time, you can be informed without being inundated. Turn the TV off. Hope you're having a great day. Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never, ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.